Spread 3, Pierce 3, sticky clusters. What about normals? Yeah, okay, I can work with this.
Sentry mode activated. Target acquired.
Hey there, hunters, and welcome back to the Gunners Guild. Now, everyone knows about Glutton 2.0, Pierce 3, sticky clusters, but nobody's using normals. Why? Do they suck? Well, no, they're just not as good as spread, but they can work, and they do have a small niche that I like. This idea came from BJ, aka the guy with no account, because he told me to look at two particular things. The first being the Ruiner Nerg heavy bowgun, and the second being ballistics. So let's dive into this thing. Alright, disclaimer, no, this is not better than spread. As I have mentioned, it's like mid-tier. It's not trash, but it's not top tier either. What this build does is give you an actual playable range, unlike scope shotgun. So the first piece of the setup is obviously the weapon. Ruiner Nerg's heavy bowgun is quite the monster, and it looks fancy AF. What makes this thing stand out is that it has a 7 clip of normal 3 with 3 mods, 1 recoil and normal reload, which is pretty sweet. Also, the raw is just absurd with no negative affinity. It's super nice. There's other options for normal 3s, such as the Luna Styx heavy bowgun, which comes with spare shot and 2 level 3 decos, which is nothing to shy away from. The only downside here is the same downside it had in the base game, which is the raw. Even though not having to run spare shot charm, it still does about the same damage with the set as the Ruiner Nerg heavy bowgun. And now you're probably thinking, well, if it does the same, why not use it? It's got a clip 8. Well, yeah, but it takes 4 mods to reach the same recoil and reload levels, which makes it lose out on a close range mod, which as you can see is a huge chunk of damage. It's like 40 damage a shot. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, not quite worth that 1 extra bullet in my book, but it's still something to keep note of. So right now, with no buffs, I'm hitting a pull for about 230 with normal 3s at close range, which isn't too bad actually. That's equal to a spread 3 hitting for about 33 a pellet. Of course, spreads can hit much higher than that, but what normals have going on for it is a few extra tricks. First is that their critical distance is fucking huge. Like, what the fuck, it's huge. With ballistics, it's basically point blank to like fucking halfway across the zone. Now you can extend this further slightly if you want to swap out the close range mod for a long barrel. I personally don't think that's worth it at all. The extra distance is pretty negligible in the long run, and the bullet velocity increase is barely noticeable. It's still a dead mod in my books, but if you really want that range, then sure, there you go. The other piece of this puzzle is ballistics. I had mentioned that it has better range than a scope shotgun, and you're probably wondering why I have a scope on this then. I have a close range mod and a scope, I must be pulling out point blank, right? Well, not exactly. So the thing with ballistics is that it works with the scope, but not on spread. Trust me, I tried, spread is excluded. But anyway, look at this. I'm going to check the space I have to maintain the super critical distance with and without ballistics. It becomes clear that you have almost double the walking space to use the scope effectively. It's fucking fantastic. So the way I use this was basically as a mid-range bowgun, which we straight up don't have. There's a nice playable range with normals with ballistics where even with the scope you aren't super tunnel vision like spread, and it still hits pretty good on things where Pierce wouldn't be able to get nice pierces. Then, once you get like a CC, such as a dunk or a topple, trap, flash, whatever, you can move into point blank range and capitalize on the close range mod and the scope doing some serious work. Obviously, the optimal play here would be to stay at close range mod distance all the time, but that's not always applicable, especially in groups. Also, I think this thing can dunk monsters pretty well. It's super crazy critical distance, making bopping them out of the air really easily. So yeah, mid-range heavy bowgun that isn't super claustrophobic like the spread bowguns are. I know that a lot of people hate using the scope, myself included, but the damage is too much to pass up on. I like the normal 3 setup because it's got a nice segue into learning the scope while doing some pretty decent numbers. The only serious downside to this is that it's an all or nothing shot. Spreads are cool because you can miss part of it and still hit like 4 of the pellets and get a good hit in, but normals you either miss entirely or you hit a shit zone and do like nothing. So you definitely need to learn some good aiming here, but you should be doing that anyway. I hope somewhere down the line when I get better decorations like Challenger, then the 6 heavy bowgun will be slightly better because it's also got cluster backup, but I'm pretty satisfied with this right now. Still wish normals felt better to use since they don't have that nice crunchy sound that spread does, so it doesn't feel as good, but the damage is pretty satisfactory. So that's normal 3 heavy bowgun. Give it a try if you don't like scope shotgun. I mean, it's still scope, but it's not anywhere near as bad. Oh, last thing, if you're asking about normals on lipo gun, yeah, I'm passing on that until we get support 2.0. Rapid fire normal 2s are not that efficient, and they don't really have good clip sizes right now, so yeah. Granted, if someone sees a normal 3 lipo gun, let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and good luck out there, hunters, and whatever you may be hunting.